Okay, we're now live. Good afternoon, everybody.
Yes.
Hi, Ethan here from Investing Note. Okay, attendees are streaming in. All right. So today, we have Guang Sheng, of course, who's gonna, let us know, of course, Trump versus Biden, right?
Yes.
So then we also have a special guest, Peter, who is also part of the Traders Dashboard. All right.
Hi, Ethan.
So let's take a few. Yeah. Hi, Peter. Right. So let's just take a few minutes for attendees to come in, and yeah, we'll get the webinar going.
Okay.
Yeah. Hope everybody is doing fine. It's a lovely Tuesday morning. Yep. Afternoon. Okay. So of course, if you have any questions, please put it in the Q&A section. Okay. Any questions, please put in the Q&A section. If you put into the chat, right, our panelists might not be able to see it. Okay, let's wait for another minute. People are still streaming in. Trump versus Biden, US elections, once in every 4 years.
I think that's more than enough, right? Once in every 4 years.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's start. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our live market commentary with Guang Sheng and Peter. So, of course, Guang Sheng is one of our long-time veteran community members. And back in 2016, I remember there was a seminar that we held together, and he actually did a lot of analysis on who actually will win the previous election. All right. So he needs no introduction, basically. Later, I'll let Guang Sheng introduce himself. And we also have a special guest, Peter, who is from the group called the Traders Dashboard, along with Guang Sheng as well. So without further ado, guys, the topic is Trump, Biden, US election. So pass the time now to Guang Sheng and Peter.
Okay, hi. So I will be doing a share screen on the last presidential election, correct? Actually, what was my prediction? And actually, most of the prediction actually went correct. And that was how my popularity actually went up. So now I will do a share screen and share during the last election, correct? 1 day before, correct? So what actually I predicted? Okay, let me see. Okay, so on the 7th of November 2016, correct? Actually, during that time, correct, I analyzed actually based on what is the economic situation and also based on the odds and also all the information that I can gather. I actually predicted that USD will be going up, which actually happened. And also during the same time, correct, I also see that the Malaysia economy is showing signs of weakening and the ringgit will drop, and it also happened. And also the third thing is I also thought that the oil, it will rebound and actually rebound. But then it is showing that a lot of oil companies actually will be going bust as the non-performing loans, correct, during that time, correct, is increasing. So I'm just sharing, correct, what are the things that actually happened during that time. And that is the reason why I'm doing this talk, correct, on the same 1 day before the US presidential election. So do note, the key points of this is, at that point of time, a few days, Hillary odds was favored, even more favored than Biden. It's like $100, you only win about $22. But why at that point of time when I gave a live talk at Chinatown Point to all the members, I realized something that is very unusual that was happening. And that is a lot of people are suddenly mysterious hand behind the scene actually are betting on Trump. And the odds for Trump actually went down. So what was the odds prior to it? It was 1:5, meaning that for every $100 that you bet on Trump, you win $500 if you bet on 1 month before. But on the few days beforehand, correct, the odds dropped from 100 to win 300s, 100 become 200. And on the actual day, it was 100 win 100, 100 win 80, 100 win 60. But we are not seeing anything happening now for Trump. In fact, later I'll be showing you all and sharing you all what we are seeing is the 75% or 70% of the bets are on Trump, but the odds are on Biden winning. The odds keep dropping for Biden. And actually, where do all these odds actually come about? So I will be sharing you all. The odds are actually come about by mathematicians who actually gather all the data, number one, across the whole of America. Number two, they will analyze all the polls. They'll analyze all the information they can gather and come up with the odds. So something unusual is happening is by right, when majority of the bets, correct, are on Trump, the odds on Trump winning should fall. But the odds on Biden is dropping. So prior a few days ago, I was looking at Biden odds. It was 1.55, but it is dropping now. Even at this stage, correct, it dropped until 1.4 something. So based on those mathematicians, they believe on numbers, and I am one person who also believe in all these numbers. It is actually pointing to the fact that facts are showing Biden to win, but the money are pouring on Trump to win. So if Trump win, the bookmaker will suffer heavy losses. That is definite. But usually the bookmakers will not be so stupid, correct, to let the odds of Biden keep going down and Trump going up when everybody is punting on it. So I'm sharing on what are the latest odds this morning, which is now noon. Okay, let's see the next things. I'm showing you the latest odds that I'm going to analyze for your.
Guang Sheng, are you sharing your screen?
I'm sharing now.
Maybe you want to click. Yeah, we can't see it.
Yes, correct, because I haven't shared.
Okay, awesome.
So now look at this US presidential election. I can tell you at one stage, correct, Biden odds to win, correct, is 1:100. That was earlier part during the early January where there's no chance of Biden even going to become the Democrat candidate. But the odds has shortened to now. You look at the real odds now. Some of them are offering at 1.4/9, like Betfair, which is what does it mean? It means $100 you are winning $44. So, and some of them even now is also 100 win 40. By right, with majority of the bets punting on Trump, and majority of those people in all those private chat group and everything, all thinking that Trump will win, a lot of people actually love underdogs, meaning that you see, if let's make it you bet $100, you only get back $40. You may as well take a punt on Trump. $100, you can win maybe 190, 180, 170. So if everybody, the hot money or the majority of the money are betting on Trump, shouldn't the odds of Trump be going down? Logically, right. But facts and data always prevails, meaning that mathematicians and people who come up with the odds are not people who are stupid. They basically have experience in opening odds. So based on all the polls, based on the thing, they think of all the unexpected things that can happen, correct? It is a fact that it's believed that Joe Biden should win. Facts are facts, but the problem is we don't know what the voters will do suddenly, or suddenly things can happen unusual. But as of now, the last election, I predicted that Trump can win based on the odds keep dropping for Trump. Now, I predict that Biden will win based on the odds dropping on Biden, and also majority of the bets are on Trump. Okay, look at the second thing that I would like to share. Okay, the second thing I would like to share is, wait. Okay, we look at the second thing that we are going to have. This is something also very unusual. At first, correct, the election result, correct, when I analyzed about a few weeks to now, the result was not going to be declared by the 4th of November. Meaning that if you think that the odds that 4th November will be the result immediately, correct, then the odds was actually $100 you win $200 or $300. But suddenly, based on all the statistic that is happening, the odds on the next day, on the 4th of November, having a clear winner has dropped to $100 win 140. Why is this happening? It's because all the polls and all the evidence that are gathering shows that Biden is having a big lead. So there won't be any confusion who is going to be declared as the president. So they expect that on the 4th of November, there is a chance that Trump may concede. But should 4th November do not have an official result, then what I suspect based on the odds now is that the 9th of November odds has been increasing. The result will not be announced until after 9th of November. So when this happens, correct, what the people who are coming out with the odds are the odds maker, correct, who actually based on maths and facts, right, are actually predicting that the result may end up either very clear-cut, Biden win, no question asked, or the result is not so clear-cut. So when the result is not so clear-cut, what will happen? It will mean that Trump itself, after being when the result are being announced, correct, he will ask his lawyer team, he will fight his way through saying that he do not recognize the result, he want to recount because the votes are too close to call. So generally, based on the odds makers who actually analyze, I'm thinking what they are thinking. They are actually thinking in conclusion that on the 4th of November, either you have the result out very fast or the result is disputed by Trump and you will drag until after 9th of November. And if this happens, correct, I expect market to be volatile. It is very good for the market if a result can be called on the 4th of November immediately. That means very clear Biden win by 300 plus electoral votes. But as of now, the odds is divided between immediate result or there will be a dispute. And they are not ruling out the dispute. Okay, let's look at the third one that we are going to analyze. The third one we are going to analyze is, will Trump concede if he loses immediately? Correct. The answer is, he's well known to be a sore loser. So if you think that the moment the result is announced and he concedes immediately, $100, you win $54. But the odds is too close to call, that some people are, the odds maker again analyze that he is a person who is what we call 炒咖, meaning that he may not accept the result. He may dispute. And what happens is, the odds is 100, you win $130, $140 if he suddenly don't accept the result. So based on this, it really signals to what actually the odds makers are thinking, based on the facts that they're thinking that Trump may not accept the results. Okay, so just have to be careful that during this period, as of now, the odds makers are very, very clear that they think it's Biden going to win, based on all the facts they gather. But they also, based on all the facts they gather, they suspect that if the result is not clear-cut, Trump will definitely dispute. Okay, but again, all these odds doesn't mean guaranteed because nobody can know about the human emotion. Just like suddenly at the last election, Clinton was supposed to be the favorite. Then suddenly everybody vote on Trump. So it's very hard to guess. Okay, let's look at the last one. Okay, the last one, correct, we have the popular vote. Okay, the popular vote is already a foregone conclusion. That means everybody, majority of the people in US, like hate Trump, like Joe Biden, and most likely they will vote on Joe Biden winning. So that one is $100 win, 10 over dollar is very, very likely that you will have Joe Biden going to have the popular vote. It is exactly the odds of what? It's like the odds of maybe one of the favorite team like Barcelona or Real Madrid versus Singapore. So having Joe Biden not being having the popular vote, that means majority of the votes in US, is very unlikely. So with all this conclusion, correct, as of now, based on the odds that I analyzed and based on my past experience, I would say that Joe Biden most likely will win easily, based on what the odds makers are thinking. Number two, there is a high chance that certain areas, correct, Trump may dispute or there may be a dispute. Or number three, the post results all are wrong and basically the result will have dispute and the result will be announced 9th of November. And that is why during this period, correct, the market is very volatile because it depends on what is the final result that is going to be announced. Yes. So I will stop share now. So maybe my partner, Peter, may add on certain things.
Yes, Guang Sheng, I think what you said is quite clear. I think people are more interested probably in the fact that the possibility that there may not be a result tomorrow night, right? Or our morning at least.
Yes.
And yeah, so I think Morgan Stanley themselves put the chance of no result at 65%. So which is actually quite high, right? So everybody feels that way. And I think there's a reason for that. The main reason for that is because there's a lot of mail-in votes this year, right? From what we understand, I think almost 94 million Americans have already voted in early voting, right?
Yes.
And many states haven't even started counting it, so there will be delays. So, but I think that having said that, people are looking at certain outcomes as well. So let me share this screen just to share. Let me see, where is it?
So to add, just now you said Morgan Stanley said that 65% there will not be a result tomorrow. It actually corresponds to the odds just now that I shared, that tomorrow on the 4th of November, if a result can be out correct, you bet 100, you get 140. It can be also due to the mail-in votes and also due to certain dispute.
That's right. That's right. And I think
Yes,
I'm sharing. I hope everyone can see the slide. It's something I got from IG. They're giving you the earliest time when you can expect results. Like for example, tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Ohio and North Carolina may announce some results. But again, we wouldn't know whether this will be delayed, right? But people are watching Florida. So again, if you are, anyone is taking a short-term position, Florida is the one to watch, right? Because if the door to the White House closes for Trump after Florida, that's it. I think that will be the key. That will be decisive. But if Trump doesn't lose Florida, then the chance is still open for a closer contest. Okay. So, but it just basically shows that this year, similar to last year. Last year, I think the results were known maybe by our afternoon the following day. But this year, it's either decisive or, as Guang Sheng says, if it's not decisive, it may stretch. And if it stretches, it's going to be, the markets may not like it, because this year, I think the key thing about this year is that we've just recovering from a pandemic. The economy is faltering, and stimulus is required, especially for the US economy, right? So any delay in the election being known, results being known, means a delay in fiscal stimulus, and that compounds the uncertainty, I think, the volatility. But having said that, I did remember that in the year 2000, for those of you who can remember, when Bush and Gore were the two candidates, the election was not decided until November 26th. Okay, so that was quite a long time. But then again, of course, in the year 2000, the markets were not like what they are today, right? So I think that may be a big difference. So, okay, so this, that will be something for people to watch out for. Okay, but so Guang Sheng, if you say that the chances of Trump or Biden winning, is, I guess, based on the odds you gave just now, I calculated it. So the odds currently for Biden translate to about a 65.8% chance of a Biden win, right?
Yes, totally correct.
And the odds for Trump win is currently 40%.
Yes.
Yeah, but the 40%,
and based on the odds, correct, it is not a clear cut still in terms of it. Why is this so? Because anything that is still above like 100 win 40, correct, it's just like, I give example, like Manchester City versus Arsenal. And recently we know that Manchester City just won Arsenal. That one is actually cleared. But before that, the FA Cup, Manchester City was down 0-2 to Arsenal. So things could happen. As long as the odds is still not 100%, it's like not like 90 to close to 100%, anything can happen, which we have discussed before.
Yeah.
Yes, because nobody know the voter mentality, suddenly the swarm of voters coming in. So again, as I said, the mathematicians, correct, the odds makers, correct, based on numbers, based on facts, based on post numbers. But again, due to this new economy, it is not traditional methods, correct, may not be 100% accurate. So far for statistics, it works. Just like, during our election, correct, we have those early casting of those votes where we actually just get the sample count and we can get the election. Usually sample counts are accurate, but for US election, it's not so simple. Plus there's COVID-19, the way they vote this year, a lot of things can happen. But on paper, based on current now, it is very, very likely, as I'm also a mathematician because I study stats, I really favor more towards Biden. That's all. Favor doesn't mean 100%.
Awesome. I mean, I think, 40% means 40% chance.
Yes, correct.
It doesn't mean zero chance, right?
Yes. Yeah. Even 1% chance also got chance.
Yes. Slim, but still a chance, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think if we look at the markets today at the moment, I mean, it's pretty quiet. So, I don't think people are expecting there's not much volatility this morning. So, it hasn't geared up yet. So I think it seems to be that for the moment, things are calm, right? Yeah. I think Hong Kong is up, China is up, Singapore's up, but generally, markets rebounded a bit, but still, I get the sense that it's a bit of there's a bit of calm before the storm. I don't know how you feel about that.
Definitely that I feel is a calm before the storm, because usually during election, it has never been calm, because there are a lot of news that is coming. As I said, the other side may say certain things, then maybe there may be dispute, or maybe there's certain incidents happening, and certain people maybe, just like when Trump actually was elected to become the president, the market actually crash, then suddenly rebound very fast. So some people may view that, hey, actually Trump is a bad president. He actually become the president is bad for the market. But then after that, some of the analysts may analyze, may actually think otherwise, and then start to buy into the market. And from then onwards, since Trump became the president, the market for the US has been going up and up and up and up. It's a fact.
So which brings us to our next topic, which we can talk about. So what's going to happen if Trump wins again?
Yes.
So what do you think?
Actually, my take is, regardless of who wins, it's definitely an up because of the stimulus. We don't care whether we look at the president, but it's the way how he handled the economy, how he handled the stock market. So with Trump, correct, he brings volatility. He always like to come out and like to tweet and then try to affect the market. Meaning that suddenly the market is going up, he can suddenly change the whole direction, change the trend, change the chart by saying certain things that actually can turn the market down. Then when the market is down to a certain point again, he will come up with certain things and he tweak, and then it will start to go back up. But the market tends to trend upwards.
Which is actually quite
true.
That
we don't know what is he going to do. But basically, we know that he is pushing for even more stimulus. So regardless of who is the president, my long run for the next 5 years is definitely an up.
Oh, okay. Let me just share this for everyone's benefit. Okay, so as you said, the market is always going to go up. So we can see here, for example, in this table, that it really doesn't matter who is the president, right? If you look at the returns, especially in the column, December to December, that means 1 year after the election, right? In 8 out of 10 instances, the market has, the S&P 500 in this case anyway, has returned, positive, and in many of those cases, instances, double-digit return, right? So it's telling people that, in a sense, yes, you could put your bets on different sectors, which we can talk about later. But at the end of the day, the market sees the election as a stepping stone into a new cycle, right? And of course, there are exceptions, right? Those 2 periods when the market didn't return positive was because there were recessions. right? And we are in the middle of a US recession as well. So it may be that next year, regardless of who is president, it may be challenging for them still, okay? But I found it interesting, 4 years from the election, and you can see the returns on the S&P 500, 4 years on, right? Which is quite fantastic. I mean, the only time that they didn't get the returns from that election, such a return was during the George Bush Jr.'s time, and that was because of the global financial crisis, right? So that is interesting. So it's basically telling people, what matters more is the global macroeconomic situation, and of course the business cycle. But I mean, having said that, right? People like to still put bets, right? Isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Right. So I suppose everybody is asking. I think there was a question just now. Maybe we can answer that. Let's see what was the question. Let me just stop sharing here first so I can see the question. I lost the screen. So the question was, which precedent will be better for the stock markets? And I think I've already shown it at table. Let me put that again.
Yeah.
Put that screen back.
Actually, both of us are optimistic on the market.
Yeah.
Because based on past trend, correct, the market should be bullish.
Yeah.
Regardless of who is the president. But more importantly is that there are just too much money that is printed. And basically, our consensus agreement is once the COVID-19 actually subside, actually most of the shares will go up. But currently the play is all on the new economy shares. So you need the market to go back to slightly half the norm. Then you will see all the laggards that are not doing well, then they may start to rebound.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So which precedent will be better for the stock market? I mean, I think history has shown that it doesn't really matter who the president is. The business cycle matters, the economic conditions matter more, they're more important, right? And I suppose if you like which president would be better, probably Biden would be better, because with Biden, you're probably going to get a bigger stimulus, right? Okay, and especially if we get that, what do they call it, the blue wave, right? If the Democrats win the Senate as well, so 2.2 trillion is assured, I think, as a stimulus package, right? So that will be super bullish for the markets, and of course, it may be inflationary as well, right? Okay. I suppose it's also fair to answer the question, right? What will happen if Trump wins? Okay, and I've seen a lot of posts, news being written by the fact that if Trump wins, you get similar business friendly deregulation, no increases in tax, and Patrick just asked, which sector is more favorable if Biden or Trump wins? My personal take is that I would look at past performance. Okay, if we want to look at that, let's do that. Okay, people are saying that with Trump, you actually get what do they say about Trump? Trump is better for fossil fuels, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, definitely. So the oil majors will actually benefit if Trump wins.
Yeah.
If Biden win, more likely will be the green energy counters.
Well, let's take a look. Okay, let's take a look. Okay,
yeah,
so I'm sharing the screen here, and I've got some ETFs here. So this one, I'm going to maximize the screen here so you can see. This is XLE. This is the Spider Energy Select ETF. Okay. Let's go to 2015, right? So even with Trump in the White House, it hasn't really been fantastic for energy stocks, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, I think this is a long-term issue for the oil industry, the fossil fuel industry, right? with Trump coming in, yes, it may be, you know, business as usual, you know, less chance of regulation. Maybe fossil fuels will have a longer life. But the long-term trend seems to be clear in a sense, right? You may get a bounce. I think people feel that energy stocks may bounce. You know, Exxon and the stuff like that may bounce if Trump wins. But just looking at, you know, the trend for the last few years, it's clear to me, right? You know, that energy, you know, stocks have bigger things to worry about, right, than just a Biden presidency, in my view. Okay. What about banks? Okay, people say banks are favorable for Trump, or banks will be favored if Trump wins, which is pretty true. I mean, if you look at banks, banks have done very well, mainly because of the tax cuts, right? But I would say that probably even with the Biden presidency, you know, I think my personal belief is that the tax rate marginal increases is not going to affect the business conditions that much. Right? It may cause the banks to adjust a bit, but if the Biden presidency offers more stimulus, that is going to be good for banks. If, you know, if people start borrowing money again, right? So maybe the impact of fiscal stimulus can, you know, more than overcome the, you know, the impact of any marginal tax increases, right? And I think my take on tax is that, you know, marginal tax increases is not going to be a big issue. You know, huge tax cuts can be an issue, but I don't think they're going to, you know, the US is going to cut any further at this level, right? They need the revenue. Okay.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So you mentioned just now, if Biden wins, it's good for renewables.
Renewable
right?
energy. Yes.
Renewable
Correct.
energy, right? So
actually, by right, there are some people who are saying that banks will not perform well. But as I said, as both of us said, actually stimulus is more important factor whether the banks will go up. Yes. This,
yeah.
We come to the general consensus.
Yeah. And I think if you get big stimulus, you know, maybe interest rates will stop falling, right? And maybe even creep up a bit. And that should be good for banks as well.
Yes, correct. Agree.
So this is the Invesco Solar ETF 10. I mean, the performance is just fabulous, isn't it? So, I mean, will it keep going up? Or I don't know, right? But as we all say, right, when you trade, you know, and you always favor the stocks or the ETFs that get stronger, right? So, right, always buy things that are high rather than buy things that are, you know, bottom fish, right? So I think the jury is out in my case. I mean, in my view, maybe there will be a correction, but still, my take on this, and I think you agree too, Guang Sheng, is that
yes.
Renewables, you know, are starting to become more important, right? Renewable
totally
energy.
Agree.
Yeah, yeah. So they have a long future ahead of us, I think. So I think the Biden presidency may give it a big shot of stimulus, you know, more incentives, more subsidies, but I don't think we can stop this from happening, right?
So my take also on all this solar is because they are already factoring the Biden win. So factoring a Biden win, a lot of people are saying, oh, actually it's going to be good for the renewable energy. And that's why if you are actually predicting that Biden will be having increasing leads or anything, before this run up, correct, you should have bought solar shares. But again, if Biden win, does it mean that the solar shares will definitely go up? Answer is not necessary. Because based on past experience, always buy on rumors, on expectation or hope, and always sell on news. So sometimes when Biden win, don't have too much expectation, solar will fly even more. Because I've seen many times that when the actual reality seeps in, it doesn't go up, people will start to sell. But long run, we are bullish on renewable energy shares. This is for sure.
Yeah,
for
and
sure,
I think
yes, we don't have so much high hopes.
Yeah,
it run up a lot already.
Yeah, but don't forget too, right? I mean, electric vehicles fall into the renewable space, right? So, you know, don't just look at this ETF, for example. I mean, people are looking at Tesla, individual stocks.
All these, yes.
Right. People are looking at what do you call it? The yes, you mentioned it. The electric vehicle makers in China. People are looking at lithium battery makers.
Yes, correct.
People are looking at lithium miners. People are also looking at those manufacturers that manufacture electric engines for the cars, right? Yeah. So there could be something interesting here, and it may still come about not because of the election, but it's just over time for everyone here to consider. Is a long-term play, right? Buy electric vehicle industry, sell the combustion engine industry, right? Because the engine makers who make combustion engines, the people who make spark plugs, do you need spark plugs in electric vehicles? No, you don't, right? So there will come a time when the play will start getting more pronounced, right? So it's kind of like buy Tesla, sell GM, unless GM goes into the electric vehicle space as well, right?
So again, this is something that I would like to highlight to everybody, is that always you buy in advance what you think. So if let's make it that you think that actually Biden will have his leads keep increasing, then beforehand everybody have this consensus believe that renewable energy shares, all this will go up. So you should have bought like Tesla, new solar shares, all this will have run up.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there are a few
take note.
Yeah, there are a few other interesting plays as well. I mean, okay, let's stick with the Biden win in this case first, okay? People are saying, small caps, right? So small caps maybe good to buy small caps, right? Because massive stimulus means broad-based economic growth, so small caps will benefit as well, not just the large caps. Okay, and I've noticed in the last couple of years there has been a couple of infrastructure ETFs, infrastructure-related ETFs. So a Biden win again, promises more ETF, more infrastructure projects. So again, this one is called PAVE, P-A-V-E, right? It's an infrastructure ETF. It's quite new, right? Right. So this are a few to consider, and if you consider infrastructure, you've got to consider industrials as well, right? And materials. Okay. And
yes.
The other thing too, we mustn't ignore is that if you get a Biden win, right? Maybe things with China will ease off a bit, right? But
yes.
It will bring into question phase one of the trade deal, right? What's going to happen? We don't know, right? But maybe, tensions with China will ease off a bit, and maybe it will become easier for, US farmers to sell to China, right? Ironically, right? Because US farmers are the biggest supporters of Trump, but, a Biden presidency may actually do them better, right? So I think, it's something to look at in agricultural stocks, right? The markets may slowly reopen to US farmers again to China. What about if Trump wins, right? I think, as we said, more of the same. Okay. I think we still get infrastructure. Infrastructure cannot be ignored. Okay. Technology may still. I think technology. What do you think, Guang Sheng? Technology will still do well in either case, right?
Yes, correct. But the only difference is that for Biden, if he wins, correct, I believe Democrats likes to go into the privacy setting and everything. So basically, it'll be more difficult for the tech itself to do business because they will scrutinize all the techs. They are definitely not comfortable. The Democrats are not comfortable with those tech companies having so much access to data and the way they are growing.
Yeah.
Definitely, I believe there will be a curb from the Democrats.
Yeah. But the question is whether they can actually pass the reforms required to do that, right?
Depends on whether they get the House and the Senate, yes.
Yeah.
All this we will not know. But basically, as I mentioned, correct, my take is I am still bullish on tech because it's the new economy shares. So as I have given a lot of talks, correct, I always have conclusion that how should you invest in shares? So far, one method so far worked for me and worked for all the people who I've actually taught is that If you ever use the platform or use the product and services on tech, you like it, you buy the shares. You ask yourself this simple question. I last time doesn't use Zoom. The day I use Zoom, I bought into Zoom at maybe 100 plus. What is the price now? Same thing. Last time I'm a fan of, example, Nokia. But the day about 10 plus years ago, I changed from Nokia to Apple. I bought Apple shares keep going up. Same thing as recently, I've been using as like WeChat, all these. The day I buy into Tencent, it went up. But recently, so on the certain product and services I never use, I actually don't buy into the shares. So recently, I've been trying to use the example DocuSign to sign document. So I may invest into DocuSign. But I have sold out Facebook because I've been using less of Facebook already. So for me, it's very simple. Tech to me is for the new economy shares. The new economy shares are actually the going forward, the way of life. So the shares will still continue to go up, is my strong take. So regardless of whether is it Trump or Biden going to win, you should always look at your own preference of using those tech. If you are using it and you start to use it, my advice is why don't you go and do on paper trade and see whether you buy the stocks will make money or not. And the day you stop using it, you should just sell. Just like last time I like to read SPH newspaper. The day I stopped reading it, I sold at 4 plus, it keep coming down to 1 plus. So these are logic.
Yeah.
So actually for the tech sector, again, for me and my partner, Peter, we both also think the tech is going up. Whether is it Biden or whether is it Trump. It's just that for me, my analysis is that it is a little bit more complicated if Democrat win. That's all.
Well, I think the way to play this, I suppose, is if Biden wins, you can choose technology stocks that are less exposed to politics, right? So that means avoid Facebook, avoid Google, Alphabet, basically avoid those big ones, right? But there's still plenty of tech stocks around, right? That will still benefit.
So I was looking at, like, example, Amazon,
yeah,
those online learning, yes.
Yeah.
So I believe tech itself, we should buy things that for us, correct, the only way for me to think of how to invest is there are just too many tech stocks. You should always buy on your own preference on use the product and services. If you don't use that product and services and you go and buy the tech stock, even when people start not to use, you also don't know and the share price suddenly drop. It's a bit sad.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I mean, buy what some people do that because buy what is.
I think that's the safer so far. It works for everyone so far.
Buy something that has changed your way of life.
Yes, and let's make it you are doing on value investing.
Yeah.
Don't know how to do value investing. Then my take is just you buy Berkshire shares and then you average. It has about close as good returns together with the S&P 500, about the same.
Yeah.
The only worry is they scared that anytime, correct, Warren Buffett may die, and then where's the legacy? But basically, to me, his shares is actually the value investing. You do not need to attend a lot of value investing costs to actually do value investing. You just need to buy Berkshire. And because it doesn't give out dividends, so you don't have those withholding tax. They reinvest.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So technology stocks, I think regardless of who wins, it's a good bet. Right, I think
yes, it's the bet for the future.
Yeah, but I think there are many themes around technology, right? So
too many.
Many. So I think it's a question of what, as Guang Sheng says, right? Something that fits, something that has impact your life. That's one way to look at it, right?
Yes.
So,
but I just want to emphasize that the economy is very bad, and that reason why recently I didn't buy into Apple. Every year, correct, I would usually buy iPhone because I have a contract to renew. But because this year is the COVID-19 period, I didn't. And true enough, the result of Apple was not fantastic and the price really retreat. Long run, I believe that all these tech companies, correct, if you use the product and service, most likely will still continue to creep higher.
Yeah, I think Apple is interesting. There's a rumor.
Interesting.
There's a rumor that Apple may build their own electric car as well. So who knows?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So now the key thing is everybody is buying online, but I see the buying online trend may start to go down when everything start to go back to norm, but not so fast. I think this whole COVID-19 new way of life take about 1 to 2 years before things become normalized.
Yeah, but that's another topic for another time, right? The new
Yes,
normal.
correct. So let's go to the next one. What other things for Trump?
Okay, what happens if Trump wins, and what will happen? Well, I think we've already spoken, right? I think Trump represents the status quo. So
Yeah. So what you have been going up and see, it will still remain the same. You have
yeah.
you will still try to find fault with Europe, find fault with every country that for the last 4 or 5 years he has done it.
Yeah. So trade tensions may still continue, and
Yes.
I think the point to note here is that a Trump win actually may not be good for emerging markets or for Asia in general, because
Yes, correct. So for Biden, we say that emerging market Asia will be good because
yeah,
and more stability.
yes, that's right. Less uncertainty.
Yes, but for Trump, correct, every time he goes down, become buying opportunity because we know that he is very bullish on stock market. One time when the stock market dropped few thousand points, he cannot eat, cannot sleep, and keep going to the TV. And eventually, he tried to make the market go up, it went up.
Yeah.
So it's a long run trend, is up. Any down for doing if he's the president, I think he's buying opportunity.
Yeah, and I think on that last note about Trump, I mean, one sector that people can look at is aerospace and defense, right?
Yes,
because
Boeing, I think is okay.
Well, not so much Boeing, but Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, and the like.
Lockheed Martin is also okay. Raytheon is also okay. Yeah. The only issue is the trade war. So the problem is Trump is not around. Will ties with China be better? And will those will China reverse the tariff or sanction on these companies?
Well, I think that is something that is unknown, because as I mentioned earlier, if Trump is no longer the president, what actually happens to the trade deal?
We will not know. Very hard to guess, because we know that Biden is also going hard on China as well, but he's not going to be as cranky as Trump.
His approach will be different, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Agreed.
So yeah, but I think they will have to honor the trade deal. But there may be issues to how they renegotiate. Perhaps, who knows? We won't know, right, until all the votes have been counted and a winner declared. In this case.
Yes, based on as I repeat again, based on the data, correct, the votes is not even close to count based on the polls. It's basically an easy win for Biden. Yeah. But basically, we will never know. Yeah. Yes, I suspect the tension will comes where there's a dispute on the result, or there's a.
I think someone asked about cloud computing ETFs. Well, I think I haven't followed them closely, but they're part of the technology landscape. So I think the ecosystem is there. So if technology, if you believe that digitalization is going to grow big, then there's clearly a need for more data centers, increased cloud computing. Then clearly that's the way of the future, right? Yeah. So
during the COVID-19, I do see funds already buying a lot into these cloud computing shares, and all cloud computing are doing well, like Cloudera, all these. Yes, even Microsoft. Do I recommend a buy or hold? Basically, during this period, we don't trade usually, because this is very volatile. Betting. It's just like betting or whether the result is going to be a clear outcome or the result is not clear outcome. Really, it can go either way. The odds are really showing that it's either immediate result out on the 4th of November, or you're going to have a drag.
Yes.
Basically, for gold and silver, long run, correct, it is definitely, our take is more toward bullish. Why? Because with so much stimulus and cash that being printed out, correct, you will go up. But there are a lot of alternatives. In fact, now a lot of money is actually going to the crypto during this uncertainty. And because there are too much money in the market, correct, it went to crypto. Yeah, just take note of that as well. But for me, correct, I think gold and silver is up.
Gold and silver, for me, I think it's up. I think it's up, but I'm not generally bullish. But at the end of the day, the danger sign for gold would be interest rates, right?
Yes, correct. So this is the up is not like one way up all the way.
Exactly, right? So for the moment, the reason why gold hasn't gone up as much, or looking to retest 1900, is because US bond yields have jumped. The 10-year is above 8% already. So that's a big factor.
Yes, it means the interest rate we will definitely go up one.
Yeah, and so gold, interest rates would be one to watch, and the dollar, of course, would be one to watch, right?
Yes.
Right. And of course, the same, with Guang Sheng. Election night, I think my preference would be to watch.
Yes.
Right. Watch.
Because we know long run our take is the market is up already. Why do I want to fight over this few things? There are so much uncertainty.
Of course.
Unless I want to make a bet. I want to bet whether the thing is easy win, not easy win. Who win? It's not easy to guess. I as of now, even I know if let's make it, my preference is Biden winning. But what happens if Biden win, but Trump don't accept the result? Go to the court, try to do something funny, don't want to hand over power, all the funny things come out.
Yeah, legal challenges are part of the uncertainty. Yeah.
Yes. So why do I need to take the risk where I know that this thing clear? It cannot be clear. It has to be clear within this month. That's my view. I don't think it will drag longer than November. But I believe from December onwards, things will start to pick up. Things will start to stabilize. And you don't forget, Biden itself still have to form the government, still have to take office. All his people has to take office. Then they come up with new policy. All this takes time.
Yeah.
So for Trump, it's more immediate because all his people are ready. So if Trump win, correct, I believe there will be more stability in terms that the market will go up immediately. But on the polls and all the facts and based on all the odds, it's really not showing Trump win or very fast Trump win. It's going to be very tight, to be honest. That's my view.
So I think with that point also, the question was, do you foresee the markets crashing anytime soon, depending on which president gets elected? I think a result within a short time frame will ensure that there's less uncertainty. But if this drags on, as Guang Sheng says, right, will the market crash? Well, I don't think we would expect, something like what happened in February or March, but clearly, there could be a lot of weakness, right, with volatility. Yeah.
Yeah, the reason is because our general consensus between me and Peter is that there are just too much money printed. It's not because the economy is good or what, that's why the stocks go up. Because we know inflation, when it happens when there are just too much money chasing too few goods. Same for stocks. When you have so much stimulus that's going into the market, correct? When things normalize, I believe there are just too much money that has been printed. So basically, stocks has to go up. So with that, correct, you will prevent the major correction. And also we know that recently Germany and France, all this having lockdown together with UK, I believe the government will come up with more stimulus because they will not let the whole economy collapse.
Yeah, I think in the case of Germany,
it's very hard for me to see another correction.
Yeah. In the case of Germany, I believe it is already in place. So basically they have a lockdown period now. Some people are affected, but there's already support for them, right? So unlike in March when support came later, so now governments know what to do. So those governments who have the ability to provide support, they are doing that during this lockdown period. So that means that they are tiding, they're helping to tide over the unemployment, whatever. So with that, so that means that another correction like the March period is quite unlikely. In the case of overseas markets, right? I mean, in the case of Singapore, I mean, we are, the market is a lot more depressed. So I think that there's a different angle to that.
Yes, totally agree. So one thing for sure is that the difference between Singapore and the rest of the major economy is Europe side, correct, they can print money as a Europe zone. US also as a major country together with Japan, China. Singapore itself, correct, we actually can only withdraw from the reserve. So actually, we really depend on the country to be open up. So how does the US election going to affect us? To be honest, correct, if it's bad, we will go down. But if let's make it is good and US go up, we may not go up because at the end of the day, we need our economy to open up. Just take note of that in case some people want to know how it's going to be Singapore going to fare.
Yeah, I think the radical thinking would be for Singapore to start running massive deficits, which they have resisted.
They have to. They definitely have to do it because if not, they are unable to stimulate the economy. A lot of business is failing to be.
Yeah. So I think that's been something that they have been resisting for years, right? To issue more bonds, to
I think they'll take on more debts because to pull through this crisis.
Well,
Really may suddenly help to turn the economy first for temporary.
that would be that is what some market observers have been saying, or rather, I wouldn't say market observers, but critics have been saying, right? So that drawing on reserves, versus deficit funding.
Yes. So yes, anything you want to share some more? Is there anything we haven't covered?
Well, I don't think there's anything more we need to cover. I mean, I hope everyone appreciates the fact that the election is just one stop, one milestone in the market's evolution, right? So and history has shown that at the end of the day, the markets will do what they want. Okay, be it going up, going down, going sideways, whatever it is. The election is just interrupts the market's evolution in that case, right?
Yeah. So Peter, do you have the cumulative returns or the Dow that day we discussed 20 days on either side of the election day so that you can share and let them see?
Oh yes, okay. Let me show
Yeah, that one would be very interesting for them to actually expect what we think. If there's no hung result, that the hung result is happened in 2000, right? Other time, correct. The norm is the shares will rebound.
Yeah. So
why suddenly the market is rebounding on the election day. It's quite normal. You all can see that. So for election, that's why I'm always against people from taking a punt, because it's more towards negative than up. But after election, when things are clear, there's no more volatility, we can see that the stock starts to go sideways, then after that rebound. So my take is very simple. After the election, I don't expect, even the result is out, your trend sideways, you will start to stabilize, then you start to slowly creep up.
Yeah.
That is my view. That is my strong view.
I think that has been the general tendency as well, right? I think the exceptions are few and far in between, but nevertheless, I think
it's happening even this year. As you can see, who went touch before the election, really asking for trouble. Yeah, that's why you understand why the market has been so weak, because people who actually have such statistic and data would not have actually entered into the market.
No, they would be selling. Yeah,
they will be selling. So more selling, so more down. So it's expected. It's nothing unusual.
No, it's nothing unusual actually.
Yeah. So the market down, just take it as part of election volatility. Yes. So anything else that we need to touch on?
Have we covered all the questions, Ethan?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, more or less, guys.
More or less. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, let me see. Is there any more new question? No more.
No more.
So we hand back to Ethan.
All right. Okay. I think Guang Sheng and Peter, both of you actually presented a very holistic and a very insightful view on the current market conditions, and also, the forecast, right? So of course, like what you guys said, nobody actually knows who will win for sure, right? There's no crystal ball on that. So I think we'll have to see the actual results on who will win. So of course, thank you everybody for attending this webinar. So just like to end off with sharing this. So of course, Guang Sheng and Peter are both part of the Traders Dashboard. So this Traders Dashboard is actually an exclusive club that they do market update regularly on a daily basis, global macro outlooks, and also stock analysis covering both Singapore and US as well. So if you just take out your phone and scan this right here, you will get to see what actually they offer. So it's a very comprehensive things that they are talking about as well. So if you like this webinar, please go support them. This is actually a subscription that's exclusive on our platform. All right. So do take a minute to take your phone to scan this, all right, and read more. So once again, thank you, Guang Sheng, and thank you, Peter, for the insightful sharing. And for the audiences, please, scan this, and we'll see who will win in the results. All right. All right, Guang Sheng and Peter, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Awesome. Have a good day, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Have a good day, audiences. All right. We'll end here. Thank you. Bye.